Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's GeneralTarheel, your coach of the Charizards, bringing you the APA Season 3, Week 3 Team Builder versus Coach 6-Foot Hacks or Leo and the Durham Druddigons. First off, I would just like to note, yes, my mic quality is very bad right now. My USB ports on my computer are broken at the moment. I was not able to fix them because the tech store that I would needed to go to on my school's campus was closed due to the weather. So I was not capable of getting it fixed yet. It should be fixed by next week, hopefully. I'm hoping not to have to do this again because I really don't like the quality of this mic. It's not what I want to represent my videos for, but I still need to get my videos out this week and there's no other way I can do it. So, as for Team Builder, yes, I decided to go ahead and do Team Builders because I do go very in depth of my team builds, and for that reason it takes way too much time out of battle videos. This has always been a thing people have brought up to me, and then KyleAye messaged me. He's like, "Yo, dude, you take way too long. You're killing the hype and stuff." I was like, "Yeah, it's true," because I do like going in depth and talking about the team build, but then it's over half my video. I normally take around 10 minutes doing that, and that's just not right. Like the average watch time at that point, people are already clicking out of the video. So just decided I'd do a team builder, basically just speed it up because I'm doing the same time frame basically. I'm just doing a separate video. It's not like I really do editing. It's just me, so me just having to do a thumbnail basically. That's just about it. So definitely going to be doing these for now on for APA. Not so much before G next gen because I definitely don't think I'll have time for that. But APA I definitely want to do it for because I really enjoy this team. So as for week 3, we are taking on 6-Foot Hacks and the Durham Druddigons. This is scary, dude. Like, this man is a legend, and I watch just about all of his draft league content. That's more so what I just watch over on his channel, but I know he does have a lot of very solid Wi-Fi battles, and a lot of his content's solid. But more so, I pay attention to his draft league content because I just really enjoy him as a player. And being the UCL Season 2 champion and GBA D-League champion, and then facing me where I just hardly have a championship and just PMUT League, it's like, this is going to be interesting. Especially with the team he has, I knew it was going to be a good one. We're both 2-0 also at this point. Not much of an undefeated matchup since it's only 2 weeks in, but still definitely an interesting battle to go into this because it would be amazing to come out with a W. So as for the matchup, I'm going to throw it up on the board. He has Mega Beedrills, Swellow, Taurus, Meanchow, Jirachi, Hydreigon, Rotomheat, Diggersby, Primarina, Donphan, and Tangrowth. His 2 Z users being Jirachi and Hydreigon. Now, when you look at the draft, it's just got a lot of those like underrated threats. Like Mega Beedrills, in my opinion, is pretty underrated. Amazing speed tier. It's very offensive and whatnot. Speed tier 145, which is ridiculous. Having the adaptability ability. Jeez, what did I just say? Having the adaptability ability. It just makes it so much better because some things that you would like normally just deal with its neutral stab and whatnot, it's like it's fine, but no, like when it's hitting you super effective, you just can't help it. Like it's just a pain at that point. Like Gourgeist is just hardly a check to Mega Beedrill, and I really just have to rely on my Landorus for that, so that's kind of a pain. Swellow is an absolute threat. I was in charge of the tiering. I should have, and I made a mistake not making this tier 3 because this thing is just—it's a pain to deal with. It should be tier 3 in my opinion for now on, because Boom Burst is just so much damage, and it's not like Explode. It can actually outspeed everything. That's what makes it dangerous and whatnot. And then it can also be a physical set, so you have to prefer either or. So it's pretty just difficult to deal with, but Choice Specs Boom Burst is just so much damage. It's really hard for me to deal with, especially since my Steel is Cobalion. It takes it on decently, but its Spadef isn't even that nice. So Swellow can easily run Heat Wave just in order to still blow back my Cobalion. And physical Swellow isn't so much of a threat, I would say, versus me. It's definitely a possibility, though, but I would be more worried about the special set than the physical for this matchup. Next up is Tauros. In my opinion, it'd be one of his 2 possible Scarfers being Tauros or Meanchow for this matchup. Tauros is pretty scary. It's an underrated mon in my opinion. Sheer Force ability just makes it so nice. Even though it doesn't only have base 40 special attack, it can still run Fire Blast and Ice Beam and be a threat for a mixed set, which is pretty common. Just getting access to moves like Body Slam, Double Edge of course, Rock Slide, Zen Headbutt, everything that has like a secondary effect and whatnot, just boosting its moves is ridiculous. Definitely dangerous. And a solid speed tier 110, which is really nice. Mean Shout, like I mentioned, very dangerous with Reckless high jump kick. Very solid Scarf user for that. It can also be a regenerator mon with Scarf pivot, which is pretty scary. You can run Life Orb, Reckless high jump kick, which is a lot of damage. You can even run Fake Out with it if needed. Mean Shout is a definite threat. It just does a lot of damage. I think Mega Lopunny is still strong. No, I don't know. I'm just going to stop before I say something stupid that I'll just regret. Either way, Mean Shout still is a very strong fighting tactic. It's good coverage. It just has to land inside jump kicks. It gets nice U-turn momentum, especially if it's a regen mod. That's really helpful. Gets knockoff, and I believe it gets Ice Punch. I could be wrong. It might just have to be running HP Ice and whatnot, but still a very dangerous threat. Next up, Jirachi. Could be bulky, could be just like annoying Choice Scarf, Serene Grace, and whatnot. Does have access to Stealth Rocks, of course. Does also get Wish Pass for some of his Pokemon. Always a dangerous mon to deal with because it can also be like Subcall Mind. It's just got a lot of things that it can do. It's one of the best Steel types in the game for sure. I'm just not too worried about it, to be completely honest. I wasn't so much expecting in this matchup because I have really good counters in it, being like Greninja, Cobalion can easily decently check it. Mega Charizard X definitely counters it. Lando T definitely puts some work, even though it can't have like Icy Wind and Ice Punch coverage. And I also have Electros, which can deal with it decently. But like, I wasn't too worried about it looking into this matchup. But Jirachi is still an amazing mon in general. It's always something you have to prep for no matter what. Next up is Hydreigon. Hydreigon is definitely scary. I wasn't expecting so much of a Scarf variant this game, but it was definitely still a possibility. Specs is probably a little bit scarier, or possible Z Crystal in order to blow back my Togekiss. It just has amazing coverage. It can run like the Steel Z with Flash Cannon in order to blow back Togekiss, like I was saying. And of course it just gets the very powerful Draco and Dark Pulse Stab. U-turn momentum to go along with his Jirachi and Mean Shout and Swallow and Mega Beedrill. What's very strong about his team is that he has heavy momentum with very scary offensive threats. So Hydreigon's always a threat, that's for sure. I definitely have to have a lot of Def Bulk, but just by looking at his team so far, and I can definitely work around that. Rotom Heat, probably the most annoying Rotom in my opinion. Rotom Wash is still annoying, but Rotom Heat's also a pain. But it's a very solid mod at that, so that's why it's annoying. It can run Pain Split, Will-O-Wisp, Volt Switch on us, of course. It has access to the Overheat. Can be run bulky, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs. Just like most Rotoms, it can just do whatever you need it to in most scenarios. In this matchup, I'm not really sure. It'd probably be more of a bulky Rotom Heat, definitely with Pain Split in order to deal with more of my bulky mons that have the reliable recovery and whatnot. Or deal with mons that don't have reliable recovery, like my Electros or something like that. So Rotom Heat would definitely just going to be a pain and whatnot, so I need to stop saying whatnot. But Rotom Heat, decent matchup. It's still hard for me to deal with, kind of. It'll have to be similar to where Mega Charizard X is more so of my helping to that, just like it was for Rotom Mo in the previous week versus Elite Four Dan. Next up is Diggersby. This thing is absolutely scary versus my team. It just does so much damage. It does get access, of course, to the Ice Punch in order to hit my Lando, and then its stabs just hit so strong. Earthquake blowing back, Toxapex, of course, and whatnot. It's just a very scary mon to deal with. You can bring a Choice Scarf if you wanted to, but I feel like a Life Orb set would help him out more here, because Life Orb Quick Attack would do a lot of damage to Mega Charizard X if that was capable of getting up a D-Dance and whatnot. Next up is Primarina. I was really expecting like a Choice Specs Primarina or a Kebiaberry Primarina, because he brought it versus Panther week 1 for the versus the matchup versus the Primate with Gunk Shot, so I was definitely figuring he'd be preparing for like Gunk Shot Greninja and whatnot. And that's definitely one of the most common Primarina counters, or sorry, Greninja counters for Primarina. So I was definitely expecting that, or just a very dangerous spec set to go along with Swallow and just absolutely like just destroy my team. Definitely a scary mon at that. It will have to run Psychic, of course, in order to hit my Toxapex, so I am going to watch out for that. Otherwise than that, I don't really know how much I can deal with it, I would definitely have to bring more SPDF bulk like the Assault Vest eel, as you see on the screen. As long as to deal with like the Swallow and aDrive, it's absolutely scary. Next up is Donphan. Donphan I was definitely expecting to be like very defensively bulky. Of course, definitely have the Rocky helmet. He always brings a Rocky helmet user in just about every weekly build, which I can approve of. I love Rocky helmet. Getting all that chip is nice, and being that it's the main physical counters that he needs to try and deal with when he's matching up versus me is Cobalion and Mega Charizard X, as well as a little bit of Lando, but more so those two. And Donphan walls us so perfectly, and getting Rocky Helmet chip on them, and then getting off a very hard-hitting EQ, which is be so nice versus my team. So I was definitely seeing that being a Rocky Helmet, like Stealth Rock bulky variant and whatnot. Lastly, Tank Growth. No doubt this is coming Assault Vest in order to deal with Greninja and Alakazam, as well as deal with Electros too, I suppose you can say. But definitely just an annoying Pokemon when it comes to Assault Vest. It's also really good defensively, but he has no reason really to bring that when he does have Donphan on his team. So that's very solid for him right there. I do love Tangrowth. It's my favorite grass type, so definitely have to be careful of it since I know what it can do. Now for the actual team build, like I mentioned, he has a lot of dangerous special attackers, so I definitely want to make sure I can check that with my team. I wanted to build more so on a defensive standpoint at first because he does have a very scary offensive team that I just want to see if I can kind of check with, and I definitely could. So first off, we do have Electros or Unagi. With the Assault Vest, Levitate ability, of course, U-turn, Knockoff, Thunderbolt, Drain Punch. I wanted to run U-turn just so I can always get a free momentum versus team, even though Donphan's risky to coming in, considering I could have the Giga Drain that getting off a lot of damage to where it's not a Mega Charizard X switching anymore. I just felt like U-turn was still going to be better because if he does have a Assault Vest Tank Growth, that might be a switching to eel, and getting off a U-turn just basically allows it to get a little bit more damage off than a Volt Switch. So anything's just really helpful. I just feel like U-turn was better than Volt Switch this game, more so. And then I have Knockoff because I want to try and get rid of any items that these special attackers might want, like Swallow with Choice Specs, Hydreigon with Choice Specs, or Primarina with Choice Specs. All are very scary. So if I can get rid of their items, that'd be very nice. Or if a Pokemon like Tangrowth tries to come in, then I get Knockoff and I get rid of its Assault Vest, which just works very well. And then next up, Thunderbolt, of course, because I still want to be able to hit Pokemon with my stab pretty well. Don't really have any investment in special attack, but still Thunderbolts could be better than, say, Wild Charge. And then lastly, Drain Punch, because since I am going to be coming in a lot of special attackers, I do want to be able to get some of my health back the best I can, considering I do not have a Wish Supportmon like Togekiss this week and whatnot, so definitely want to bring that bulk. As for the EVs, I did make this to where I do live 2 Boom Burst from a max special attack Timid Choice Specs Swallow after Stealth Rocks. It does max 43.8, I believe, with Boom Burst. So I do live that after, I do live 2 after 1 Stealth Rocks entry, which is very important just in case I can't have Talk Specs anymore or whatnot. I do have 20 in speed because I will be running Sassy, unfortunately, just because I am a mixed attacker. But the 20 in speed just basically allows me to still get a fast U-turn off on the Tank Growth. The reasoning for that is I really want to keep my Assault Vest, so if that's his counter, and I opted to click like Knockoff and stuff like that, I get to still get the U-turn off on Tank Growth before it has a chance of using Knockoff versus me, and getting rid of my own Assault Vest, which would really suck. So that's the reasoning behind that. Drain Punch, like I mentioned, just go like, oh wait, I thought I was going through moves again. But yeah, that's basically it for the EVs. Not too much for Eel, more so just trying to be the best counter to Swallow it can be and whatnot. Also still coming in on Primarina and of course Hydreigon, which I can get a Drain Punch off on. Next up is Talk Specs. Talk Specs, I did want to get another special counter, and yes, before I get called out for this, it is 252-4. The reasoning for that is if I am max SPDF, he basically never two-shots me with Swallow Boom Burst. He has a 1% chance in order to do it, so it is possible, but if he gets those odds, I'm just going to cry. My reasoning for doing that is because if I'm not max SPDF, then it increases to a 7% chance of knocking me out, and I want the best percent, or best odds of living versus Swallow on 2 Boom Burst, because I really want to get knockoff or Swallow. If I get the knockoff or Swallow, I get rid of its choice specs, and then Toxapex stays in versus Swallow after it comes back in for regen and whatnot, because I can easily pivot into my Eelektross as well after I get rid of its choice specs, and then it won't even be three-shotting Eelektross from full health, I believe. So knocking off Swallow is very important. That's why I have it in both Eel and Toxapex. More so, I would expect him to try to get the 2-shot versus Toxapex. So the knockoff is definitely important for this matchup. I do have Toxic just to get on a lot of his bulky walls. I didn't want to bring Toxic spikes necessarily, because he does have, I don't want to say good removal, but it is decent. Hydreigon does get Defog as well as Rotom Heat, and those are both off the ground, so that's kind of annoying. And then Donphan, if he did bring Rapid Spin, sure, Donphan would get poisoned, but it's still annoying. And if he did opt to bring the Mega Beedrill, then he's absorbing the T-Spikes anyways. So Toxic just gets it off just about virtually anything on his team. It'd just be really helpful. And then lastly, I just have Scald, of course. Just trying to get damage off and get a burn through some of his physical attackers. I still want to be able to hit Diggersby and stuff like that, even though an Earthquake will be killing me easily. Unfortunately, with not having this defensive investment, I do get 2-shot by Drill Run Mega Beedrill. From Adamant, at least, Jolly, I do live 2, I believe. But for Adamant Mega Beedrill, he would 2-shot me with Drill Run, but that would take a lot more defensive investment. Like I mentioned, I want to get the better Spadef in order to counter Swallow, because Swallow is more of a dangerous threat to me than Mega Beedrills, considering I do have Landorus on the team, which you will see later. Toxapex, once again, more so just to knock off any items and be a Spinafancer along with Eelektross. Those two basically can help out my team very well while I try to weaken those Mons and set up my own offense and whatnot. Next up, we have Gourgeist or Jacko Spook making its debut. It's such a solid defensive matchup versus team, to be completely honest. I was actually pretty hyped about it. The only thing we don't really check too well, physical-wise, is the Mega Beedrill. Now, I did decide to go Yache Berry and Frisk. The reasoning behind Yache Berry is that Diggersby, I do want to be a direct counter to Diggersby, and even though it can knock me off, I have no reason seeing him bring knockoff. He should bring Dual Stab and Return and Earthquake, and then Quick Attack for stab priority, and then he should have Ice Punch, of course, hit the Landorus, and Ice Punch still hits Gourgeist, so he has no reasoning not to at least just click Ice Punch for Gourgeist. If he does have the knockoff, he would click that, I understand that, but he does run risk of me being Colbur, considering Mega Beedrill can also run knockoff. Mean Shao can run knockoff in order to deal with it as well. I can be Colbur just to get something off versus the Hydreigon if I really need to. Knockoff versus Donphan. Like, he risks me being Colbur that he has to click Ice Punch versus Gourgeist, so Yache Berry is a very nice bring in my opinion, so shoutouts to Nico for bringing up the Yache Berry. Synthesis Seed Bomb, Toxic Leech Seed. I did have Will-O-Wisp at first, and I really wish I had that at the same time, but I just couldn't fit it because I really wanted Toxic and Leech Seed. Toxic's a lot better for his real bulky mons, and Leech Seed, just getting health back possibly into Eelektross or any other members of my team is very important. Synthesis, of course, for the just health over time and whatnot. And see, having those two special defensive Pokemon in Eelektross and Toxapex is what makes this really important, because this Gourgeist does absolutely nothing to Swallow, and definitely going to be taking health from Swallow, so that's definitely going to be a problem. So those two, so this defensive core just basically works out very well. That's just how it goes. Even though Gourgeist can't really touch any of the special attackers, nor can it touch like Jirachi or Mega Beedrill or anything like that, it's more so a counter to Diggersby and Tauros. Those are just the real scary mons for my team, as well as it's a spin counter to Donphan, so I can try and keep my Stealth Rocks up if he did not decide to bring Defog. For the EV investment, I think I just had enough defense investment to live a, I believe it was Ice Punch and Ice Punch from Diggersby. I believe that was the only reason for my investment here. I don't think anything else. Speed was in case Donphan wanted to try and speed creep me, considering I am 4 base points above it. Special defense was just to throw it in there. I don't think I necessarily needed anything else. Yeah, it's just because that defensive calc was specifically for Diggersby, most likely. So I don't remember. I'm doing this a little late, to be honest. So next up, making a return from an amazing week last week, we have Crazy Frog or Greninja. Once again, it has an amazing matchup, and I was definitely looking forward to using it again after it did so successfully last week. Once again, running that Gunk Shot, we're going to have Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, and Water Shuriken as well, with the Life Orb. Mixed Attacker, we're going to put in so much work once again. Gunk Shot, it does 2-shot Tangrowth. If he is just a max Bidef Assault Vest set, which I fully expect. If he does have some defense, there's still a very good chance he's still 2-shot, because I did do it based off of the standard damage calc or showdown damage calc, which gives it around 24 defensive investment. So I should just about always 2-shot Tangrowth with Gunk Shot. Ice Beam will do me around 40 to 45 or so if he is a Soul Vest, max Bidef. Hydro Pump absolutely destroys his team. The Gunk Shot also helps me with the Pre-Marina, which is the main thing, even though there is a chance he's going to be Kebia and whatnot. Oh, excuse me. And then I have Water Shuriken purely for his speed, because if I get 4 hits off with Water Shuriken, I do kill Swallow after rocks, which is important. And then Water Shuriken versus Mega Beedrill would also be very nice. It just works out for some of his higher speed Pokemon. They're above Greninja, of course, and possible Scarfers and like Mienshao and Tauros. It'd be really helpful just to have that priority in the back. I didn't really need anything else, so Water Shuriken was definitely going to be helpful. The only downfall to this is I don't really have Dark Pulse in order to hit the Jirachi, but at the same time, Jirachi really doesn't want to try and stay in on Greninja anyways, and I can just easily click Hydro Bomb versus his team, even though I wouldn't be really doing anything versus Tangrowth. I'm trying to catch Tangrowth on an easy prediction way early in the game and whatnot, in order for Greninja just to spam like Hydro Pump and whatnot. The 204 special attack is just basically what was left, because I just needed that 108 in attack in order to get the automatic 2-shot versus Tangrowth, and I had the speed investment just to make sure I could get the outspeed versus max speed Tauros. Next up, we wanted to have another counter to his speed Pokemon, as well as just a decent offensive Pokemon in general, and that is my Landorus. Landorus, I really wanted to bring a Dual Dance versus him, but Choice Scarf was so important to me, as well as having Stealth Rocks up versus his team. So even though it is Choice Scarf Stealth Rock, it's still very nice. Choice Scarf, of course, allowing me to get the outspeeds on stuff like Mega Beedrill, Swallow, and then Tauros, Mienshao if they're not scarfed and whatnot, and just everything on his team otherwise. So Lando also gives me U-turn momentum. His switch in could be Donphans if he has it, if he does it the Rocky Helmet and whatnot, but I'm not too worried about that. He can get all the Rocky Helmet damage off he wants on Lando. As long as I'm getting momentum, I'm getting Greninja in versus Donphan all the time, which is very important because it just increases my chances of catching that Tangrowth off guard. Because also, if I do get Stealth Rocks up with Lando T, then I can just click Ice Beam with Greninja and not risk Gunk Shot versus something. I can just click Ice Beam, and then Ice Beam into Gunk Shot will for sure kill Tangrowth after Stealth Rocks. I have Stone Edge in order to hit the Swallow. I just needed to be able to just destroy the Swallow. Like, it was just so scary. Like, there's no other reason behind it. 228 in attack is all I really needed versus his team. I don't really remember why. I think it was just probably a 2-shot on some of his Pokemon. I need to do these team builders directly after I make the team, because I go hard into calcs, but I only remember it right afterwards. But either way, Lando just does beautiful work. We do have some defensive bulk and 84 HP and 28 defense, just to also allow us to take on Mega Beedrill better. Of course, we will be lowering its attack with the Intimidate on the switch in, and then we do resist its stabs, which is very nice, even though it still does have adaptability. We'll be doing damage, but the resist will help us out very much. Lastly, I don't think it still had the best matchup, but I still had a decent one, and that was my Mega Charizard X. The reasoning for me bringing this was, one, its offensive capabilities are still nice, because even, as you can see, I'm not bringing a Dragon Dance variant, so I can still easily weaken down his team instead of just trying to sweep. And second, it gives me a counter to Rotom He, which is kind of a pain with his team that I had so far. Basically, the main counter just being Electros. Toxapex is a chance to get 2-shot by Discharge. It is 2-shot by Thunderbolt if he is max special attack Rotom Heat. Greninja gets destroyed with its Scarf, and then there's obviously Hidden Power Ice potential for Landorus. So Charizard X helps me for Rotom, and then it also just puts a hole in his team, really. Third Let's Thunder Punch, Dragon Claw, Roost. Thunder Punch, of course, to hit the Primarina, which is very nice. I believe I kill it after Stealth Rocks. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I do, at least, unless he's a really bulky. Flare Blitz just absolutely puts a hole through his team. Dragon Claw, of course, does a lot of damage as well, allowing me to hit the Hydreigon, which I do outspeed, just not at, of course, if he is Scarf, that's all I'm trying to say, I believe. And then Roost, just to get the health regen, because I am predicting it. I am predicting Donphan to be Rocky Helmet. I'm pretty solid it's going to be Rocky Helmet. And basically, this just allows me to always get a solid hit off, and then later on, instead of hitting the Donphan again on switching, I can easily just click Roost, get my health back up, and then I allow Charizard just to click Flare Blitz and get a kill basically later on as well. So Charizard definitely going to be putting in the work. I do have some of that Spadef investment just to help me take on the Rotom Heat like I mentioned. But other than that, Mega Charizard X is a counter to the Rotom Heat as well as just a general wall breaker. Trying to set up for Greninja and Scarfalando just to clean up if my Pokemons in the back aren't already like slowly picking off his frail offense. And that does it for the team builder. So I'm just really scared about his special attackers. I'm really hoping I can get rid of their choice specs if he decides to bring that. That would put me in a nice situation. I hope Gren or Charizard can easily just break apart the team, and then it makes it much easier for me to deal with at that point, which I feel like they can. As for things I'm worrying about, like I mentioned, Swallow, I'm also worried about Diggersby. Tauros could be a problem, and Minshao, depending on which one he's going to bring Scarf in order to outspeed +1 Charizard after Dragonance, because even though he will have Donphan, Leo is smart enough to bring a Choice Scarfer to go along with Donphan to have another kind of Mega Charizard X, because it's just that much of a threat. So definitely have to watch out for those guys. Rotom Heat, I know, will be a nuisance. Primarina's always scary choice specs. And then Donphan and Tangrowth, I'm really expecting both of them, and I can easily probably weaken them down. So hopefully we can do well this week. I really want to pick up a win versus Leo. Not only is that just like a goal in the books, but it'd be nice to continue the undefeated streak, because KyleAye and JacubAsAlways in my division, they are also 2-0, and that is always scary. So trying to keep up and do the best. I do enjoy winning, trying to be pretty competitive in this league while having fun in P4G Next Gen and whatnot. So hopefully we can get a win tomorrow. So make sure to check out the battle that will be going up tomorrow versus Leo. Check out my battle that I had go up yesterday for P4G Next Gen. And that'll be it for me today. So, like, share, deuces.